What's cracking, YouTube? You already know who I be if you subscribe to the channel. Just getting back in town. Had to go do this whole birthday thing with the kid. Shout out to her 13th birthday. Had to do the daddy thing. But this is a message to the Bears fans. You know, y'all raised all this hell about getting Khalil Mack. And I'm not going to sit up here and say y'all didn't have a good season, because y'all had a hell of a season. You know, even with Mitchell I can never say that fucker's last name. Mitch the Bitch. Even though Mitch the Bitch was hurt, y'all was still able to win the division. You know, that defense played, you know, an imitation 85 Bear-like type defense this year. The offense did what it could when it needed to do what it needed to be done. I'm not gonna take nothing from Mitch the Bitch. You know, he did have a game where he threw 4 or 5 touchdowns in one game or something like that. I think that was the highlight of his season as far as offensive performances at a position. I gotta give a lot of credit to Tyreek Cohen. That dude is a hell of a player. Taking nothing away from Jordan Howard. He did what he was supposed to do to get them to where they got. But a lot of credit goes to that defense, man. I mean, of course, y'all was missing Eddie Jackson, but y'all go get a kicker that the Eagles got rid of for missing field goals. Y'all get a kicker that the Eagles got rid of that used to miss field goals. Does that make any fucking sense? Bears fans? Now, I'm sitting up there watching the game. You know, I'm out of town. You know, trying to relax from being so busy. Trying to spoil this little girl rotten. And I'm watching the game and I'm sitting up there and I'm looking and I'm like, why in the hell would you go get a guy that has been known to do this before on another team? And then you put him in that same position. You should have already knew what was going to happen. I knew he was going to miss it. I'm sitting right there around everybody. I'm like, man, this dude finna miss this field goal. No, he made the first one. If he made the first one, he for sure going to make the second one. Man, you jinx. Man, you a jinx. Nah, man, I just know, man. And then, to my surprise, they reportedly changed it from a missed field goal, from a failed field goal attempt to a block kick, because the ball did get blocked. So, my picks that I had for this week of the wild card round. Is this the wild card round? Yeah, the wild card round. I had picked the who was the first game? Jeez, I'm already forgetting. I picked the Chargers to win. I picked the Seahawks. Of course, they lost. I picked the Colts to win. And, I picked the Eagles to win. I was 3 out of 4 of my picks. Out of the 4 games that were played. What's going on here? But yeah, I know it's devastating, Bears fans. I feel your pain. But y'all was had y'all chest poked out. You know what I'm saying? Head lifted up high. Head lifted up high. A lot of courage. A lot of courage in your heart. A lot of bass in your voice. Talking that shit. Oh, this light is trash. Talking all that big shit. We run the North. All that crazy crap I was getting. All of my notifications. Watching all these other Chicago Bear YouTubers screaming and yelling all in their videos. I forget that guy's name, man. I forget that guy's name. I forget his name. He got like a weird ass name, but he an older guy. He's an old guy. Talking all that crazy shit. Thought y'all had the season. Thought y'all won y'all Super Bowl in the first game against the Packers, but then got upsetted in the second half of the game by Aaron Rodgers. You know what? When the ESPYs drop, that should be performance. Nah, they probably gonna give it to Pat Mahomes or somebody like that. Somebody gonna get performance of the year. You know what I'm saying? Aaron Rodgers' name is gonna be in that hat for performance of the year. You know, getting hurt, coming back, having this Paul Pierce moment, getting wheeled out on the cart, comes back and sets the first week of the NFL on fire on Sunday Night Football. And it just goes to show, man. It just goes to show the Bears. Who knows how devastating this L, that kick, is gonna be? Will it carry over into the next season? To sit there and say that they have probably the number one defense in the league next to the Ravens. You know, acquiring Khalil Mack, $140 million. Did Khalil Mack even do anything in the game? I don't remember seeing Khalil Mack do shit in this game. Nick Foles was just firing on all cylinders, even though he threw 2 interceptions. Oh man, this says a lot about this game. This game opened up a lot. It let me see a lot. You know what I'm saying? As far as how this devastating loss will affect the Bears next season, will it carry over? How the players may feel, the city of Chicago is feeling right now. Shit, the whole state of Illinois. You know what I'm saying? Like, man. And then it says, it told me another thing too, like, about Carson Wentz, man, and Nick Foles. Like, the Eagles gonna have to answer some fucking questions, man. The Eagles gonna have to answer some damn questions if if Nick Foles goes on another playoff run like he's doing right now. Now, they got to go and play against the Saints. And if this ain't enough fire to light up underneath a team's ass, who knows what's going to happen next week, knowing that, you know, the Saints are at home and it's hard to beat the Saints at home in New Orleans. I know I told y'all my Super Bowl picks were the Chargers and the Seahawks. Obviously, the Seahawks are now out of the playoffs. But I do think the Chargers got a legitimate shot to go win in Foxborough, but it's going to come down to 2 things, man. One thing for sure. Phillip Rivers, he can't make no mistakes. He cannot make any mistakes. And plus, this New England defense has been playing a little bit better. They have been gelling together, figuring it out. And the defense is going to have to take as many advantages as they can off of Tom Brady's mistakes. And Tom Brady's been making mistakes. He's been throwing interceptions this year. So, don't get it twisted to just think that the so-called GOAT that y'all all praise and bow down to, bowing down to this corny-ass quarterback, and this military-minded ran team. You know what I'm saying? We know who's pulling the strings. But if the Chargers can get turnovers and turn the turnovers into points, and, really, I would love to see the defense just win this ball game, like it did against the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though Phillip Rivers was out there making mistakes, and this is the second game against the Chargers where he didn't throw a touchdown. Plus, they really going to have to evaluate Melvin Gordon's injury, man, to see if he's going to be ready to play in that cold-ass Foxborough, New England weather, man. I think it's supposed to be snowing out there, man, so that's going to be probably a big factor. Even though it was cold in Baltimore, but in New England, it snows. I expect Tom Brady to come out there and be on this fucking A game. I don't know what to say about Phillip Rivers. To my knowledge, he's 0-7 against Brady. Maybe this would be a chance where he finally gets a victory. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm sticking with my Super Bowl pick. I'm sticking with the Chargers to beat the New England Patriots in New England. If this is not the best chance for the Chargers to do something historic, like I said, moving from San Diego, Qualcomm Stadium, can't play there no more. Moving down to Carson, California, StubHub Stadium. Phillip Rivers not really wanting to play down in LA. Had to pay him some money to keep him around. They draft Joey Bosa. Defense turns around. Then they get the safety guy, the rookie safety that's just a huge impact. Casey Hayward goes over there. They get some good linebackers, good defensive line. You know what I mean? They Keenan Allen, the Williams dudes. You know what I'm saying? They just, they winning these games. They couldn't beat the Chiefs when they needed to, but just this whole Cinderella story, I think, would be cool if they won. But that's just what I think. As far as I think the Eagles defense might be able to slow Drew Brees down. The way that defense was playing against the Chicago Bears, not to say that Mitchell Trubisky, fuck his last name, Mitchell Trubisky, can't say the guy's last name, Mitch the bitch. Mitch the bitch is not a top tier quarterback at all. You know what I'm saying? Drew Brees, top tier quarterback, but they have no receivers. They got a young guy. They got Mike Thomas, and then they got Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. They don't have a tight end. They don't have a reliable tight end. They're using Taysom Hill. They backup quarterback as a whatever back. They use that fool for everything, for Wildcat, special team trick plays, quarterback. He do it all. So I don't know what position he fucking play. I think he play everything on the offense itself, the O-line. So I think the Eagles might have a chance to beat the Saints. Now, the Cowboys and the Rams, who knows how healthy Todd Gurley will be, but I think he will play. He's going to want to play. Dallas they started off rocky, wasn't able to win on the road. It got a little dark, and then, they went on and won 5 straight. Leighton Vander Esch, that dude has changed that defense around. Randy Gregory, they got some pass rushers. They still got a good offensive line. Ezekiel Elliott, has did what he always do, and that's run the ball effectively and efficiently. They get Amari Cooper. He sparks a fire on the offense for Dak Prescott. They have a tight end that's slowly coming around, making big plays. Of course, Cole Beasley, but Cole Beasley is just toughing it out. I think he's really hurt, but I think he's just gutting it out. Gallup, however you say his name, he's starting to come around, making big catches over the middle of the field. The only problem that the Cowboys really have is situational football and pretty much Dak Prescott making mistakes. That's pretty much it with them. They have a solid team. They secondary might be a little iffy, but as far as this is another thing with Dallas. Whatever game they play in is going to be close unless they just completely fall apart. You know what I'm saying? They have to completely fall apart, get blown out. You know what I mean? It have to be a complete oh damn, they just totally dropped the ball. Dallas, they play in low scoring games, even though the Seahawks game was 22-24. That's a 46 point total. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty high. That's pretty typical, a typical football score, regular season game score. You know what I'm saying? The Rams are a high scoring team. So if the Rams can get back to, if the Rams put up 30 points, I don't see the Cowboys winning this game. Plus, it's going to be a lot of Cowboy fans at this game than Rams fans. That's going to be the problem for the Rams. They fan base. Rams don't have a huge fan base like that. I went to the Rams game. Damn, can I park? I can't park right here? I gotta swing around. I went to the come on, dude. Come on out. I went to the Rams game and it was nothing but Packer fans every freaking where, man. Every freaking where. What is this dude doing, man? You know what? Just swing around. So, the Cowboys off-season training is in Oxnard, California. So it's a lot of Cowboy fans out here. But I will say this. Even when the Vikings came out to play the Rams. Hold on, man. I'm trying to park. Even when the Vikings came out to play the Rams, it was a lot more Viking fans than Rams fans. But I will say, the Rams always pull through some way, somehow, man. They just some way, somehow, they was always pulling through when it was a larger fan base team while they were at home. But who knows what kind of Sean McVay we're gonna get this week? You know what I mean? We're gonna get playoff Sean McVay where he has a successful regular season and then shows up in the playoffs and he's one and done, just like he was against the Falcons. Is that the Sean McVay we're gonna get? So it'd be crazy if it was a NFC Championship conference playoff game against, the Cowboys against the Eagles. That would be crazy. That would be nuts. That would be nuts. But with that game, I think the Rams will win, and it'll probably be the Eagles against the Rams. And I know the Patriots against the Chiefs was a huge game. High point total. I think it was over 80 total points. It might be that again. It might be the Chiefs against the Patriots in the AFC Championship game, or it might be the Patriots against the who the Chiefs playing? The Colts. We might see a Deflategate Part 2. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens, man. About to go run these errands before the national championship game come on. Clemson and Alabama. I'm rolling with the Tide. If you want to know who I'm rolling with the Tide. It's your man King Howie, and I'm gone.